All right, guys, yo. So we're back in here again for another of these hot specials. So this time, this is the Real Madrid hot. We enter into the Real Madrid hot, and where we try and dig in and dive into looking at what has happened to Real Madrid since the summer and looking at them now, managerial situations as well. And I'm joined here by my man Red, who is, the Real Madrid aficionado, who will help me break things down to this. So we've got a lot of topics to go through, little things to dissect, and I think Red, he's always a guy on point that can bring the Real Madrid thing. So thank you for joining me on this escapade.
Oh, thank you, HH. Thanks for having me. It's an honor, honestly.
Cool. So let's start off first with this right now. So let's just go straight in. In your view, where did it break down between Perez and Cristiano, relationship-wise? So let's just before the summer. At what period did the relationship break down between Cristiano and Perez?
So apparently, from what I've read up and what I've heard recently, it's that the relationship has been it's been bad since since we won the back-to-back. Because I believe Cristiano wanted a raise at that point, and Perez didn't.
Okay, so this was after the 2017
Juve final. After the Juve final.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Because Cristiano Ronaldo, it's his relationship with Perez was right now after the whole debacles and everything's been unfolded. We've gotten a lot of reports saying that Ronaldo has never really had a good relationship with Perez because he wasn't a Perez signing. So he might have felt underappreciated, I think, by the Real Madrid team. Not the team as in like the football team, but the team, the marketing and all that. He wasn't appreciated by them and wasn't valued as much as he thought he was valued. Because I believe the fans, they all love Ronaldo, of course. But I think overall from the corporation that is Real Madrid, he felt undervalued there and he wasn't getting what he deserves. And I think that's where the whole debacle comes through because Ronaldo has nothing else to complain about. Playtime, he gets playtime. The team is centered around him. He's pretty much above criticism within that team. Like even if he plays horribly one match, the next match he'll still start. So I think it was all over money, and I think Ronaldo maybe just got to the point where I achieved everything I could achieve at Madrid. I might leave at a high. It was just the perfect storm altogether.
So let's now fast forward to the summer right now. So Cristiano is leaving. In your view, we have to keep things fully 100 and fully transparent. So in your view, when you knew Cristiano was going, were you sure that a replacement is already in place, or were you not fully sure that there was actually going to be a replacement once Cristiano was already on his way to Juventus?
Well, to be honest, I thought that we would go hard because usually, historically speaking, Madrid, after every World Cup, they like to splash some cash. They always like to find the breakout star from the World Cup, and they would drop money on him, whether it was, let's say, for example, in the last World Cup in 2014 was James Rodriguez. So I expected Madrid to do so. I don't
So why didn't they do so then? If that's the pattern.
Well, my personal opinion, I believe that it was back to the Neymar transfer to PSG. That inflated all the prices, and I felt that Madrid were like, you know what, we have a good enough squad to play this season and just see because Hazard's going into his final year of his contract right now. So if we were to get Hazard last summer, Madrid would have had to splash at least 160, 180 mil. Right now, because he's in his final year, we could possibly get him for under 100 mil. We can get him from 80 to 100 mil right now. So I felt like it was all just they're trying to weather the storm of that whole inflation of the inflation of the market, and they wanted to invest more. And this was actually a really good thing for the Real Madrid board to do because we have a lot of youth talent we've stockpiled. I believe this is a season where they should play these teams and play these players, and whoever's not good enough to offload them, and the ones that are good enough to leave them in the squad. And we have had some breakout stars this season. So that's my personal opinion on what happened and why we didn't go in harder for a star, even though I would have liked us to go in for a bigger star during the summer, at least a striker.
So if, let's say, it was you and you could choose, either you save up on the money and entrust in the younger guys, or try and go for that superstar with a bit of the Cristiano money, which would you have gone for this summer? Let's just forget all the stuff that has happened with the results and everything. Which would you rather go for? Go for the superstar, or just try and reinvest everything into the youth system and wait until next summer?
I would have invested in the youth, not by a superstar just yet, because you have to remember that this team has won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. It would be disrespectful to these stars, to these athletes that have won this, that have made this history for this club, to just us offload them on the first season we get. Right, like it would be a huge disrespect, like to just get rid of Bale or Benzema or any of these players. Even though I would have liked us to strengthen, but not necessarily by a big star player. I do believe at the turn of the decade, which I think next year, and that's when our squad rebuilding process will undergo, because I have noticed at the turn of every decade, Madrid tend to splash a lot of cash. Like in the early 2000s, that's when they went with the Galacticos eras. We got Vigo, Zidane, Ronaldo. We started getting all these big players. Then when the 2010s came in, we got Ozil, Di Maria, Ronaldo, Benzema, Kaká. And right now we have there's a huge pool of talent out there, of quality players that are just spread out on these, like, I don't want to say mid-table teams, but like, that Europa League spots where you have some players, like you have a Memphis Depay, for example. He's quality. He could be a good buy and relatively cheap. You have Icardi right now; he's bubbling. You have There's honestly so many players out there for me to just name. Ericsson. You have Harry Kane. You have so there are even Son. Son is honestly, I think he's world, I don't want to say world class.
No, but he's close. He's getting there. He's
getting there. Yeah, his consistency is showing. Like even Son would even be a great fit in the Madrid team. Like. But I just feel like it's good that we're waiting this season and we're not rushing and just buying these players, because you see, like, for example, and I hate to just bring them up, but Barcelona, as soon as Neymar was sold, they went and splashed so much cash on so many players that only Dembele has really been there. But Dembele, maybe Vidal have been their great buys. Like aside from that, Andre Gomes flopped, Arda Turan flopped, Coutinho flopped. Like, flopped. Even today he was the reason for the goal. Like he the second goal. So these play, like, we don't. I think they're trying to be more calculated, and that's why, for example, I see a lot of Perez hate, which I think is unwarranted, because Perez is honestly crucial to how Madrid have been successful in the modern era.
Okay, but let's even bring in Perez. So I do understand that investing in the youth is very much something that every club should do, but this is where the issue is, and let me just get your point. This is where the issue is. You see, if, let's say, whether you take Ajax from the 90s, you take Dortmund, you take a Barcelona, or you take any of these teams where has been a tradition all the way through. And I think the danger here is that this is pretty much the first time in years the youth have really just been thrust upon being into the first team. And it is almost like a culture shock, because Perez's mind frame has always been, this is a team led by superstars and fully defined by superstars. I'm not here to bring in any of these young guys, maybe in 1 or 2 games, but this is always a team that will always be fully identified, always be fully pushed forward by superstars. I'm not really integrating 4 or 5 youth players into a team like what Ferguson did with United. So in that sense, don't you think that it was a risk to go this, even if this is the way to run a club, wasn't it risky to go this direction after losing a Cristiano?
Definitely. No. That's the worst part. Is that the thing is, Cristiano Ronaldo is not an average player. You can't just replace Cristiano Ronaldo. Like when he left, like that hole is never going to be replaced. You're not going to get a player, unless it's Lionel Messi, that's going to get you that amount of goals. Because Ronaldo, regardless of his on the ball ability, he gets that ball in the back of the net.
No. He's a great goal scorer.
Exactly. So the thing is, when we lost Ronaldo, even if let's say, for example, we would have went into an Icardi, I still would have felt that this team would have struggled this season, and that's based off of issues that have been like these issues have been in this Madrid team since the 17-18 season, last season, since with Zidane. Because even under Zidane, we were doing worse than we're doing right now. Like, it's just the difference is under the Zidane, we were doing so well in the Champions League, we weren't really having those losses in the Champions League, so we always would claim the Champions League. Look, we're scoring here, we're doing this here. Now we're losing the Champions League. We lose in Moscow, then in the league we also take some losses. It's kind of tough. We also sacked a manager. It looks much worse than it actually is. But again, when you invest, we had to invest in the youth, because if we went in for a big player, we couldn't really afford a flop at that point.
Okay, so wait. No, sorry. Finish your point, and I want to get on something, but just finish your point.
Yeah, no, like the point, like it's like, think about it this way. Imagine if we were to invest into an Icardi, like let's say over the summer, right, or into an Hazard, but then the goals still aren't coming because our striker isn't striking. Like Hazard's creating all these chances, and you have a situation like you have in Chelsea, or let's say we get an Icardi, and Icardi just doesn't live up to the level that Real Madrid expect from him. There's other situations in the team, and I think Lopetegui was a big cause for all our problems, because he was making us play some possession style football where the team was breaking records, like 800 league passes, 800 passes in a game, but no goals. We weren't scoring any goals, and actually it made us worse because now we're susceptible to counterattacks, because none of these teams, and nobody on our team is a finisher where they'll finish their chance. They just get interceptions and we get a counterattack goal. If you go back to watch all the goals that we conceded under Lopetegui, it was pretty much the same goal. It was just all counterattacks because the team was just pointlessly passing the ball.
So let me, because you mentioned him, Lopetegui. Now for the whole Lopetegui thing, who do you blame? Do you blame Perez for hiring him? Do you blame Lopetegui's tactics and his lack of adaptability to the players he had? Or do you blame the players' lack for their aptitude to adapt to his tactics? Who was to blame with the Lopetegui?
The blame was definitely on Perez for listening to the players, because Perez hired Lopetegui because the Spanish players rated him very highly. Because if you remember, like Isco and Ceballos and Asensio and all these players were doing amazing under Lopetegui. They were doing incredible under him. So based off that, and Ramos and all them, they recommended Lopetegui to Perez, and he hired them based off that. And Perez should have not listened to them. I think Perez should have just went with his gut feeling, go for a big manager. But instead, we ended up going for Lopetegui, which, with all due respect to him, he's a good manager. I don't think he was just ready for an elite club yet. I felt like he was, because he flopped at Porto. He wasn't good at Porto. With the Spanish national team, he did well. But again, international football is different from club football.
Oh no, very different. Yeah.
So he ended so Lopetegui was a flop, and plus his style, like.
It was more suited to Barcelona or Sevilla, not really
much exactly. And the thing is, he plagiarized also Zidane's front starting 11. So he took Zidane's starting 11 and he's trying to transform it into a Barcelona playing team, which would not, because for example, Cruz is a sniper when it comes to passing. He'll give you those long balls, but to make those 1-2 plays like a Xavi and Iniesta, that takes chemistry, and it takes a lot. It's not his specialty. He can pass the ball, he can get it to his destination, but he can't do that 1-2 play where he's dragging players with him. We have Modric that could possibly do that, but one hand doesn't clap by itself. You need another player to play off him. Again, Benzema could suit that style, but Bale can't. Bale is a player that needs space. Bale is a player that you need to unleash. He's not really the tiki-taka style player.
Okay, so. No, sorry, finish your point.
So with Lopetegui, it's just that whole thing was not a good fit. It was a gamble, and it obviously didn't pay off. We've improved much better. We've been much better since then, though. I will say that.
Okay, you say much better. How much of an improvement has Solari been from Lopetegui? Has it really been that much of an improvement, or is it just a case of Solari has just allowed the players just a lot more freedom than Lopetegui gave them? Because again, Solari, for me, he aimed the long-term solution. But how much better has he been?
No, so Solari, I don't think he's going to be a long-term solution. It's going to be very hard for him to really make an argument for his case unless he wins a trophy by the end of the season. Solari has improved us greatly defensively. Our pressing and counter-pressing have much improved recently. Even against top sides, against Sevilla, we were able to keep a clean sheet, beat them 2-0. Against I know a recent loss that looked really bad on us was Real Sociedad, but even that game was kind of tricky because there was some dubious decisions that really led to that loss. We didn't have a penalty call. There was a goal that was offside but was scored onside. So I don't want to make excuses. It is what it is at the end of the day. But I mean, from a tactical point of view, he wasn't really outplayed in that match.
Okay.
So his counter-pressing, he improved us defensively. You could see players like Varane have gone back on form. Casemiro has started recently. He's coming back from an injury. He started to improve. He's improving slowly. He's getting back to his old form. Modric has been incredible under Solari. I know that the whole Isco situation is a bit tricky because I know a lot. He's been mentioning Isco recently.
Oh no. Actually, no. We'll touch on that. Don't touch on Isco. I want to leave that for everyone. But now let me I want to move on to. I want to move to Hazard.
Mhm.
So, in your opinion, let's say Real Madrid have Hazard. Hazard is a Real Madrid player. Is he the answer to at least really positively begin the process of taking Real Madrid to the next level? Is he that player that Real Madrid need in order for them to now really start competing? Or do you think Real Madrid is too big a stage for him and he wants? Because again, look, the key thing is this: he's not Cristiano. They're two different players. But what I try and explain is because again, and you made this point earlier on, there's no point in bringing Hazard if you don't have a top tier striker. Because Hazard isn't there to score the goals. Hazard is there to, like, he's now a top tier creator that Real Madrid do not have. But a top tier creator is useless if he doesn't have a striker for him to create for. But if Real Madrid do have Hazard, do you feel that he can become a top Real Madrid player? Or do you think that Chelsea is his level? He wouldn't be able to raise his level to the kind of pressure that Real Madrid bring.
No, there's no big stage for Hazard. Hazard is that quality of player that he will step up. Like he will elevate his game. The thing is, Hazard at Chelsea, you of course touch on this many times in your videos where you talk about like how Hazard he's alone on the Chelsea team. With the Real Madrid, the way we switch the play, the way we stretch out the opposition, we will create space for Hazard to work his magic. Like we need a player like Hazard. We need a pacey player on the wing. We need a player that's skillful, that can create, because we've been missing that. We can't just keep relying on Marcelo to be our creating force. I feel like if Hazard gets introduced into this Madrid squad, plus right now our left back we're playing is Reguilón, which he's been very, very solid. I feel like there could be a good new partnership there. Because Marcelo's now going into his 30s, I don't think he can continue producing. Even this season, he's been injured a lot. Of course, he's always got a spot in that Madrid team, but I'm looking forward. Hazard would be he would solve 50% of our problems easily, because Modric is a great player to hold possession, to be press proof, to make those passes, to create those spaces. He always does that dummy movement with his body where he drags the player, fakes the passes coming to him, and it goes to a different player, which you saw him do it to Casemiro recently, to Casemiro in the last match where Casemiro scored that long shot. But we don't have a player like Hazard that can create those chances. Isco has not been up to par in the creative department. Yes, he can carry the ball forward, he can get to the final third, but creatively, we don't have much creators in that Madrid squad.
All right, so
Hazard,
Hazard
would definitely be the answer.
Sorry, go.
Hazard. I just want to say Hazard would definitely be the answer. Hazard is a vital player that if we can get him, we should definitely go in for him.
So how likely do you think you'll get him this summer, or do you think it's a thing of waiting till his contract runs out, or do you think this is the summer that Madrid get him?
No, it's this summer or never. Like that's it. Like because he's 28 right now. Like tops, if we sign him, we're gonna sign him like probably on a 3-4 year contract till he's like 32. But that's it. I don't think if they don't go for him this summer, which I think we definitely should go for Hazard, then it's over. Like I don't think we'll be going in for Hazard ever. The window passed. Like that's it.
All right. But let's just because I think because Benzema is a big topic. I want to break them, but before we get to big Benz, I want to talk about Isco. It's not working out. I think him and Solari may have fallen out or something. I look at because again, apart from his bad performances and everything, I look at body language, and his body language is that I don't want to be here. I don't really fit in here. I don't feel happy here. And again, as a sports person, forget about football. If you're a sports person and you're mentally not 100% there, it's just not going to pop off for you. So, in your view, personally, do you feel that maybe under a different manager, Isco can still have a future in this team based on what you know that Isco can do? Or do you feel that Isco and Real Madrid, especially with him having a bit of beef with some of the Madrid fans, do you think that marriage is fully ended? That's a divorce that is finalized and they have to part their ways?
No. Isco's staying with Madrid. He I think he'll wait out till Solari leaves, because I think Solari's more disposable than Isco is to this team.
Okay. So you still believe in Isco?
Oh yeah. No. Isco is quality. The thing is with him and Solari, they've fallen out ever since that Moscow game, because in that Moscow game at home when we lost 3-0, Isco was him and Marcelo were the only two starting 11 players in that team. The rest was like Javi Sanchez, Vallejo, or Odriozola. It was Vinicius. Like it was all Real Madrid. It was essentially Real Madrid C and B with Isco and Marcelo. and Marcelo was coming off an injury. He was only playing because they were trying to warm him up for the league game. Uh, Isco in that match was he was a disaster. He was lazy. He wasn't tracking back. He was releasing balls. We lost that match pretty much like 65% due to Isco and him being underwhelming in that match. So the thing is, Isco, even though he's out of form right now, we've seen what he's able to do. Like I still don't forget that 2017 Champions League campaign and how Isco was vital to Real Madrid. He was playing his best football then, and even that 2016-17 league season, Isco was playing incredibly that season. So I've seen his peak, and I feel like once he's under the right manager, which gives him his proper position, proper freedom, I think he can elevate his level. Because I think with him and Solari, it's pretty bad because Solari, even right now, he's picking Ceballos. He's favoring Ceballos over him. When Llorente comes back, I think he's going to start picking Llorente over Isco as well.
Which is just it. I mean, let's just be real, because Ceballos is all right, but if you're Isco, based on what you are watching in the Spain team, that is a straight diss. If those players are playing ahead of you, that's just a straight insult.
See, and the issue is we need Ceballos and we need Isco on the team. Like those two players have to play together because those two players they mesh well together. The way they play together, you see it. And why I enjoy Ceballos though, why I feel like he's also I would right now I'm with Solari picking him over Isco. Ceballos takes shots at HH. He shoots. He actually goes for goal. He tries to finish.
I remember his free kick against them. Betis, quality free kick.
Oh, quality free kick around the keeper, blindsides. Around the wall, blindsides the keeper. So he's really good at those shots, and I feel like with the departure of Ronaldo, we need those players. We need those players that can take those shots that will get you that clutch goal every now and then. Like against Betis, it was his free kick, and even in our last match against Sevilla, he hit the bar. It was like a hair, and it would have been in.
But let me so let's say Real Madrid get Hazard. Is there space for Hazard and Isco both in a team, or are they two similar players that would sort of overlap each other, or do you think that they can work well both in the same team?
It's going to be hard to fit them in because Isco right now under our current managers, they like to play on the left-hand side, even though he's better of a center mid or right behind the number 9. I think that's his best position is when he's playing in the middle. But I think if we bring in Hazard, we need a left winger because we're playing Bale on the right now. Vasquez on the Bale on the left. Sorry, Vasquez on the right. So we need a left winger. We need somebody so Bale can go back to his natural right wing position. You have Hazard down the left. You could play a Benzema or Vinicius down the middle, and then play Isco right behind them. That could work if we want to go in a more attacking sense.
But then Hazard has played the number 10 before though, so.
See, even Hazard could. I think with Madrid, Hazard. I don't want to say the false 9, but Hazard could play like as a center forward. He could because with Madrid, we will be able to stretch out and create space for Hazard. Because I don't feel like the Chelsea's fullbacks can do what Madrid's fullbacks
no, they're crap. No, Chelsea fullbacks. They're crap.
So you see yourself, like with the way Marcelo and Dani Carvajal, they'll really go use the width of the pitch and they'll switch the play, dragging players on. And with Solari right now, if you look at all his with his tactics in all the games, there's always one wing which is completely open. We completely drag the players to one side of the field and we create some space for our fullbacks. So with that kind, I feel like if we had a Hazard in that team that could really exploit those spaces, we'd be much more dangerous than what we are right now.
Okay, let's go to Big Benzema.
Big Ben.
So before I just ask you specific questions about Benzema, let's just start off with a general one. What is your personal view on Karim Benzema? How do you view Benzema personally?
Okay, so I have 2 opinions on Benzema. Currently,
I want a simple answer. Don't waffle. Just a simple.
Okay. Currently, Benzema has been neutered. He cannot be a star striker for Real Madrid anymore. Currently, I feel like his best years are behind him. He's still incredible on the ball. I still rate him very highly. His 1-2 play is, I think, unrivaled amongst other number 9s. He's very, very good in those aspects. But Madrid right now in this current era, we need a goal scorer. That's the thing is Benzema is not the answer. That stuff would work when Cristiano was there. When Cristiano was scoring those goals, you can excuse Benzema because he's sort of taking that submissive role to give Cristiano the space and the room to get those opportunities and chances and goals. So the only issue with Benzema right now is that like you're the star man, you're the number 9 for Madrid. Like take the chance, like show people that you're worth it. And he's not doing it. He doesn't. I don't feel like he has that passion anymore. I feel like it's done. He's accomplished everything he's wanted to accomplish at the club level. He's peaked, and it's all downhill from here. So currently, Benzema's a write-up.
About it is that like the Benzema that we saw at Lyon, I don't know for how many years you saw that Benzema from Real Madrid. Now, do you feel that not directly, and I don't want to blame him because again he has nothing to blame for. He's just doing his job very well. But do you think in a roundabout way, Cristiano was to blame for Benzema maybe losing his confidence as a player and as a striker who could create his own shot and create his own goals as he did so for Lyon and for France? So do you think with Cristiano gone, he's sort of forgotten how to play where that he could actually be a threat as a striker rather than just controlling it and just being a linkman?
That could be one of the reasons. I don't want to blame Cristiano solely for it because Benzema and his development. Because when we bought him in back in 2009,
but like I just like when I say blame Cristiano, Cristiano did nothing wrong. I'm just saying like it was just a result of because he's there and because of what works for Zidane. Benzema was the fall guy, which helped the team win 3 Champions Leagues in a row.
Yep.
But as a result, did that actually harm Benzema's game?
It did. Because it took that instinct from him. Like every striker has an instinct in the box where he just wants to be the first one on the ball to get that ball at the back of the net. Whether if you get a cross in with it, like Benzema he doesn't have that instinct like Cristiano. Like you see when Ronaldo's on the pitch, like in those Champions League, he's just constantly waiting for the cross, constantly waiting for a pass. Benzema,
he takes shots. You have to take shots.
Exactly. Whereas Benzema's just sitting in the back, and you see him, he's just waiting to if Ronaldo needs that really to offload the pass to if he can't really get that shot off. So Benzema's really, and I feel like he still does it to this day. Because right now, if you see him in his when we're playing naturally, you'll find Benzema ends up on the wing because he's trying to like play Marcelo in. So Marcelo make an inverted run, and he'll be like a 1-2 off of Marcelo, and he'll be stranded on the wing, whether on the left or on the right, and you'll see Vasquez or like a fullback in the box. I'm like, Ben's like, why are you there? You should make those runs. You shouldn't let them make those runs. But he's just okay with that. He's okay with playing the supporting role, and that's my issue with him. Is like you gotta at one point take the game by the scruff of the neck and finish it. You gotta like score those goals. You can't just keep playing that. Paying second fiddle just because he's very unselfish. He's very unselfish player, and that's why I always appreciated him. He never takes penalties. Like if what's his name, Benzema would have taken penalties, he would have added 5 more goals to his goal tally.
There's the issue. Then that's something that you brought in. If you ask any striker, any top striker, they are obsessed with scoring goals, and you have to be greedy. And it's a good sense of greed because every striker you are judged based on the goals that you score. Of course, you want to help your team win and everything, but privately, if your team have won and you've scored no goals in private, you're pissed off in private because every striker you live and breathe off scoring goals. So I think if you're having a striker who is selfless, not selfish, not greedy, isn't out there trying to score goals, that is a major problem.
100%, because like right now, that's our problem. Is like you find him even when we lose these matches, you won't see him really pushing. Like Ronaldo, when he's going down, he's not scoring a goal. He would always be mad. You see him just yelling, telling players to get into position, moving around. He's trying to get there. Benzema, he just seemed like he's just walking. Again, it's like he has nothing left to prove to anyone. He has nothing left to prove to himself. He's playing at the top level. He's essentially giving room to the youngsters to come in, and he gives them more of an opportunity than he gives himself. And that's just something that we can't afford right now. I feel like he could still play a second striker because Benzema is a great. Like last year when we were playing 2 strikers, Benzema played great as a second striker. He was phenomenal, and he's like I said, on the ball, he's still exceptional. I would love to see Benzema and Hazard. I'd like to see that link up, how that match up.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Because that would, I feel like that would
open him up like a support striker or someone to play off of.
100%. Like I feel like if he gets somebody like that, I feel like we're gonna see some orgasmic football at that point. If we get like a Hazard, a player of that quality, of that ilk, and that player with disrespect, that likes to dribble and pass and really humiliate the opposition. We don't have that in Madrid right now. We have Vinicius. He's coming to be like that, but we need that kind of player. We need that kind of ilk of player.
Okay, let's go to the Ballon d'Or winner, fifth Pro winner, World Cup finalists, and so forth. Luka Modric, man, the guy who has pretty much been a core reason as to why Real Madrid was so successful in Europe. Now, is Modric too old?
No. Modric
So
is
no.
honestly.
Now remember, what being real is 29. It's 2019. You've got to be fully real. Now take away your Real Madrid bias.
Yep.
In your view, looking at the past few games, are you honestly telling me that Modric hasn't lost a step, and you're not seeing the age start to creep into his game?
Personally, at the beginning of the season, I saw that, and I that's what I was feeling as well. I felt that he was fatigued. We weren't playing well. I felt like that was highlighted in our earlier losses. But over the past, since the Club World Cup, he has been on point. For example, his average match rating this season has been 7.10. I looked it up beforehand because I wanted to make sure that I got it right. He has a good average. He has good average. Even the past two games, he scored 2 goals in each. So Modric, he's definitely declined than what he was in 2016 and 17, where I think those were his peak seasons. 2018 he had a good season. It wasn't really. I didn't feel like it was his best, but overall it got into a World Cup final. He won the Champions League, so I felt it was a well-deserved Ballon d'Or. But he has declined. I don't think he's going to be a star. He's going to be the main man next year. I think that because we're getting Kovacic back. We still have James Rodriguez on loan. We still have some midfield options that we could really figure out what we could do. We're not really in a crisis for the midfield. So even if Luka Modric, it was his last year and he has been declining, it's not going to be a huge miss for Madrid because we already have midfield talent that we have developing right now and really growing.
Okay, so how many more years can he get out of Modric then? How many? Because again, as you said, he's past his peak. And Real Madrid have to pretty much be competing because again, when Xavi was sort of past his peak, Barcelona had to rejig and recreate things. So if Real Madrid want to really compete and especially want to try and get this La Liga crown, how many more years realistically can Modric be the main core central midfielder for Real Madrid?
I think next season will be his last season. I really think so. I think because right now he's 33 years old. By next year he's going to be 34. I won't feel like he would have the legs to continue doing what he does for Madrid because Modric operates as a box to box. Modric, the way he plays, you'll find him near the poaching, near the just at the touchline, the final third for the opposition, but also for our team, you'll find him. He'll go all the way back and cover for our fullbacks or aid, let's say Carvajal if we're playing a narrow formation, or aid Vasquez if we're playing a wide formation. So he's very. I don't think he'll have the legs to really stay another season after this. I even feel like next season you're going to see less Modric. I would be surprised if he actually stays after the summer because I feel like his links to Inter, he might be going to Inter Milan.
So let's say you have a choice. Let's just create a scenario. You can only have one of these players back in your team full time of who've been on loan. So this is between James Rodriguez and Kovacic. If you were to choose one player to fully recall back, and you can only recall one and you can't recall the other, who do you think would give Real Madrid the most, Kovacic or James Rodriguez?
Okay, so with that, that's a tough one. But I would say this. If we're going to be putting it as a Modric replacement, I think Kovacic would be ideal if we want to for replacement because Kovacic is great on the ball, carries the ball forward. He's essentially press proof. He can get his pass off without getting dispossessed. Quality dribbler, not much goals. So like I said, he's pretty identical to Modric, and he's also a bigger body, so he's better aerially than Modric. But James Rodriguez has that star quality in a player where he can sometimes just clutch out games and win games for you. Whether it's in a free kick or a late winner or he just has that star quality. It's kind of hard because he doesn't score a lot of goals, but when he does, they're always memorable goals. I think Kovacic would be the more vital player currently for Madrid. So I would probably go for Kovacic over James, even though I think James his quality is very much needed in this team. But I feel like Kovacic, just for what we might lose and for longevity, we would need Kovacic over James.
So you're saying Kovacic is the long-term replacement for Modric?
Yep. Kovacic, he fits that profile.
And do you think that he can fill the gap that Modric would leave? Do you really think that Kovacic is of that ilk and of that standard, or don't you need perhaps a variety, or maybe try and poke the bear for a Thiago from Bayern?
Thiago, okay, if we can get a Thiago, that's a whole different story. Thiago would be amazing. I think Thiago would live up to Modric. I feel like we could, if Thiago comes back to Madrid, I feel like we could still elevate his level and put him into another gear and get more out of him. But with the cards we're dealt, I feel like Kovacic, it's going to be hard to really live up to Luka Modric. Luka Modric is a great player, a very underrated player in my opinion. Even though he won the Ballon d'Or, I feel like still by fans they don't see what he actually does.
No, because those are people that they don't watch football games. They look at stats.
It's insane. I just recommend for people to check out his the way he dummies players. The way when he comes in pulls in a body, thinks as if he's going to go for the pass, and just creates space based off of that. I wish they count that as an assist, because that is an assist, because he creates that space. So, anyways, that aside, I feel like Kovacic could possibly, because he's young, Kovacic still can grow. On the ball, dribbling wise, he is better than Modric. I just don't believe he's not press proof like Modric. Because Modric, whenever somebody's coming to press him, he will get his pass off. He will always retain possession, get his pass off. You find him in around the box, because we always play a high line. We try to suffocate our opposition inside their own box. Modric is the reason for that. Modric is just on the outside. He retains the ball, passes to Cruz. Cruz gives it to the fullbacks, spreads the play wide, and we retain possession like that. So Modric is vital to that. I feel like Kovacic could play that role well. If we get a Thiago, on the other hand, Thiago, I feel like would elevate us. I think I think he could do more than just retain the possession. He could also create chances and help us be more direct in our play, which is what I think.
Because the issue with Kovacic is he is a very good midfield, a very good pass and everything, but he doesn't have very good forward movements, because Modric gives you the midfield, gives you the keeping of possession, gives you the keeping up the tempo and so on, but he carries the ball. He gives you an attacking thrust, and he makes forward passes. So Kovacic doesn't really give you that. That's what I'm saying.
No, he doesn't. Like I said, he's more for retaining possession. He's really good at retaining. He's not going to be. He's not much of a creator. I think with Real Madrid, he only had 3 goals in 3 years. He's not a goal scorer. Even his assists aren't that great. But again, what he does is in retaining possession and keeping the ball going forward. When you have a player like Cruz or beside you that can really create those opportunities, giving those passes, he could work in our team, and we would be able to function very well with him. But like I said, if we can get a Thiago, that would be great, because Thiago does more than that. Thiago can beat a player off the dribble, create those chances. He could be I think he would be more like Modric, maybe not defensively, but definitely on midfield duties and going offensively. I think Thiago would be a great addition.
So let's look at Vinicius Jr. Is he the future of Real Madrid? Yeah. Do you buy into the hype, or you want to just chill before you say, no, this guy can really be the next big star in the next few years?
No, I am chill. I don't want to overhype him and act like he's going to be the next Neymar or the next big thing. But I do, every time I watch this guy, it's a joy. He is my favorite player on that Madrid team right now. He does everything I want him to do. He's aggressive. You see him with opposition, he gets in their faces. He argues, and I want a player like that. I want a player that can antagonize defenses. I want. He's disrespectful. Even he tried to attempt a rainbow flick the other day. It didn't work out for him. But I want a player of that ilk, a player that's disrespectful. He dribbles. He goes past players. His passing and finishing in the final third are still, they're not really good. He loses a lot of possession in the final third. But I feel like with time, he could really, really be a vital part to this Real Madrid side.
So what is his strongest position? Wide rights, inside forward rights, or the striker or a supporting striker? What is his strongest position then?
So I see he does his best when he's playing on the left. He's playing on the left, but when he's playing in the games, you see him. He goes in all positions. He'll go make a run down the right. He'll go through down the middle. he constantly switches on the field, but his best runs come from his left hand side. I feel like he's just much better on the left hand side. He's more comfortable with that. But again, he's only 18 years old. This player is malleable. We can change him to whatever we want. He could be a number 9, similar to how Wenger transformed Henry from a left winger to a striker and the greatest striker of the Premier League era. So,
oh no, because I think see, if it was me, and I'm looking at Vinicius Jr. right now, because it's interesting that you say that. I do believe that you could have a very interesting striker there, almost similar to Henry, because that's why I don't think of Henry as a striker, because Henry is sort of like similar to what Ronaldo did back in the day in the 90s, where they redefined how you viewed a striker. Because before Ronaldo, strikers were just finishers, targets men. We get the ball and put the ball in the back of the net. But the way, not really those strikers who know these guys are actually good on the ball. They actually know how to play. They actually are very nice in possession of the ball, which is what Ronaldo did, which is what Henry did, which is what Lewandowski does. So again, that's the choice. So if it was down to you, do you retrain him as a striker, or do you make him hone in and be an amazing attacking left wide man?
No, I would want him to be a striker. I feel like once he starts to develop physically, because you could see he's still right now, he's not fully developed. He's still skinny.
He's still a teenager, man.
Yeah, he's still young. So I feel like once he starts developing physically and he can actually really take the beating when he's going through the middle, I feel like he should definitely play down the middle. Especially if we bring in Hazard. If we're bringing in Hazard, I want to see Vinny in the number 9 position. I want to see him there, because this guy, he can beat his player off. Like whether he's going left or right, he can still beat his player. And I want him to sort of have that free roam position where he could, like, let's say if we're going on a counterattack, he can go down the right, down the left. He can play central. We should just let this player. We should develop him, really focus on him, getting him to score goals, because that's what his game is missing, just scoring goals. Possibly, I want him to be a bit more creative with his playing, because even like I said earlier, when he gets to the final third, his passing isn't really up to par. Like, he'll get to a position where if it was, let's say, Ronaldo in 2014-15, he would be able to get a cross in, give a low-driven pass. So I don't know. Who knows? He could actually, honestly, because we had Marcelo back in 2007 when we got him back in 2007, 2006. He was a left winger. We converted him to a right back. Anything could happen with this player. The point is that we have a player with a lot of talent that could, like, he doesn't really have a ceiling on him. Like, we could have him as a striker, left winger. I would prefer him as a striker, of course, but who knows? We have to watch and see what he does.
Did Real Madrid need to buy Courtois?
This goes back to Perez. How in the era?
No, because just before, because like for me, because this is where I stand on the whole thing, and obviously I'll give you the floor. I think the issue is Navas isn't a big name.
That is true.
Navas makes mistakes, but he makes some amazing saves. So in the same match that he'd make like a mistake, he will produce a superb save. And there's sometimes where, no, this guy has pretty much won the game for Real Madrid in his own way as a keeper by making a save he had no right to make. And then every single time, even when I was doing matches throughout the years, people would say, oh, no, they need to buy someone. I said, wait a minute, why do Real Madrid need a keeper? And why is Navas sort of like always under pressure for his role? And that's because I just don't think he's a big name. And because he's not a big name, Real Madrid felt a need to get a keeper. So in your view, where do you stand on the whole matter? Was Courtois needed? Is Navas not fully appreciated?
No, it's two things. First thing is Perez. He does not like short keepers. Actually, there's an interview. Wow. People could go and look it up. Iker Casillas' mom was talking on a Spanish radio saying that he never appreciated Casillas because he was a short keeper. He likes the taller keepers. So that was always why he never was really happy with Navas. Navas is an incredible keeper. Honestly, I've never seen a keeper more clutch than that keeper. Like last year against Bayern, he won us that game. You were talking about games that were won by Navas. Against Bayern Munich at the Bernabeu, Navas won us that game. Nobody else. So with that being said, how could you say no to a World Cup Golden Glove winner for 30 million, HH, in a market where Alisson's going for 70, where Kepa, a Spanish prospect, is going for 75? You're getting a World Cup two-time Premier League champion, what's it called? A La Liga champion, a Champions League finalist, a World Cup Golden Glove winner for 30 million. Can you say no to that? Like, and your existing keeper, because Navas is old. Navas, I believe he's in his 30s. I believe he's 33, if I'm not mistaken. 33 or 34 years old. So, with that being said, was Courtois needed this season? No, he wasn't. But am I happy that we got him? Of course. Yeah. By the way, Navas is 32. So, like, we definitely needed him for the long term. For long term, we need Courtois.
So how old is Courtois?
Courtois, I believe he's 25. Yeah, 26. 26. He's 26 years old.
Okay.
So Courtois can still give us like 5 more years, HH. Like, for 30 million, again, a keeper of his caliber. And Courtois has been good for Madrid. He hasn't been like amazing, but he has been good. Honestly, most of the goals we concede is due to our like horrible plays, like where we're like, again, like I said earlier, where we're just getting exposed on the counter because of our possession-based football.
All right, so let's go to again. We're going to talk about how Benzema, the issues with Benzema here. We don't know if he'll be staying or going. So I'm going to give you 3 strikers, and these are 3 strikers who have been rumored. Yeah, 3 strikers. So these are 3 strikers who, one, have been rumored around possibly joining Real Madrid, and these are the 3 strikers who I think there is a realistic chance of Real Madrid getting, because I don't think either Aguero or the Cannibal Suarez are realistic propositions to get. So Icardi, Kane, Aubameyang. Those are the 3 strikers who I think Real Madrid could possibly get. If you were to choose one that you feel could take Real Madrid to the future, fits Real Madrid's system, and could dependably give you minimum 20 to 25 Gs every season, which striker do you pick out of those 3?
Okay, so I'm going to take, so you said Icardi, Kane, and who's the third one?
Aubameyang.
So Aubameyang, I'm going to take him out of the equation right away. He's too old. He's 30, I believe, this year. So Aubameyang, I take him just because we're going to the future. He's not gonna be suited for us because Benzema's 30, so we're not really doing much there. It would be between Icardi and Kane. Now this one is a tough one because I see both those players they're of the same ilk. Like, where they're not really too graceful on the ball, but they will put the ball in the back of the net.
Very good goal scorers, yeah.
Very, very good goal scorers. I think I might edge it towards Kane for a couple of reasons, actually. I feel like Kane is a better penalty taker, which with Madrid, we get penalties. So to have that aspect of the game already locked down, that you have a really good penalty taker like Harry Kane, would be great. Some of our weaknesses recently since Ronaldo left is we've been very weak off set pieces. We don't really score off corners or from free kicks anymore. I feel like Harry Kane is also better aerially than Icardi. He scores way more headers. So that would also improve another aspect of our game more than if we brought in Icardi.
So, but do you think Harry Kane would? Because let me just throw this in. Harry Kane, he's played for Tottenham for pretty much most of his professional career. Tottenham isn't Real Madrid. Real Madrid is like pretty much that's the pressure cooker. Can Kane deal with the pressure?
See, I feel like Kane, with the amount of pressure, he's already under a lot of pressure because he's been heralded by the English media for a long time now.
Like, no. But there's one thing being heralded and lauded, which can actually sort of help you and reduce the pressure from you. But if you're playing in a club where you're not expected to win a trophy, you're not really expected to win, you can just, I score my goals and that's cool. But if you now come into a club that is expected to win a trophy every single season and the fans are very, very impatient, and with every bad game, there's already a spotlight on you, that is a whole different proposition to a club that has not really won a major trophy in I don't even know how long. So again, from that aspect, can he deal with the pressure if he was to move to Real Madrid?
You are right from that. It's going to be tough for him to do it, but I feel like Harry Kane could. He's really developed a lot over the years. He's only 25 years old. Let's just remember that. Like, he's only 25. This guy's already won the Premier League boot twice. He lost last year by 1 goal. Again, they call him Harry Claim because he just wants all the goals.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
want a
yeah.
player like that. I want a player that's just he's ruthless. He would do anything to get that goal. Icardi, he is the better poacher. I feel like Icardi with less chances could probably score goals than Harry Kane. I just don't feel like his overall game would improve Madrid as much as Harry Kane would improve us. Also, about the pressure thing, it's interesting because like I wouldn't want Icardi because he has a lot of drama around him.
Oh
Even
yeah.
with Milan, he has he's at war with the ultras. I believe a year ago or they were like
Oh
where
no,
he was.
but I think they sort of settled it now. That's sort of before, but I think they've settled it now.
That's the thing about HH. Like in Madrid, you really can't afford that kind of drama because like once if that does happen, it's gonna hit every newspaper, every headline. It's gonna be mentioned everywhere,
Mm.
and that's gonna be more negative around the team. Because the most important thing about Madrid, they love players that are just clean cut, that are very they don't really have any opinions or anything or have any negative history tied around them. They
Mm.
don't touch those players. If you look at Madrid, like historically, like someone even like for example R9, like he was heavily criticized in Madrid at the time for his party ways and the way he would always party. And that was like a phenom at the time, and he was like a player that was really untouchable, like from the media point of view. But even in Madrid, he had a hard time because of that. Even the manager would give him a hard time for that.
Mm.
So in Madrid, they really have a no BS policy. I feel like Harry Kane's the more I don't want to say the good boy, but he is. He really is. He's like a good boy. You don't ever really hear anything negative about Harry Kane. He's very quiet. He's very to himself. So
But still, at the end of the day, as good as that is, this was still talking about for football. So if a rude boy is going to give me 30 goals a season, am I still going to go for the nice guy who's going to give me
oh, of
50
course not. Of
goals a
course
season?
not. But the thing is, if the nice guy's also going to give you 30 goals a season, you're going to go
Oh,
for the nice guy.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's So to end this, right, and let's look at the major future right now, major future for Real Madrid right now. And these are two names again that I've been touched about. We talked about Hazard, and I think the criticism that people had of Hazard is that, okay, he's not a major name. He's not a name that can sell shirts. He's not a Galactical, but I still feel that if a guy comes and plays really well to a high standard, people start buying his jerseys. Same as like if Vinicius Jr. becomes a big, huge thing, people start buying his jerseys. Raul wasn't really known when he was starting off Real Madrid, but then when he became known, boom, he became a household name that everyone's buying his jersey. So two names now, and you can only pick one: Neymar or Mbappe. Between these two players, who do you feel that Real Madrid should build their team around if you're looking at the next 5? Okay, look, let's just take the years out of it, because I think if I now say which do you build a team around, obviously it's Mbappe because he's much younger. But again, let's just say the next few years. Which superstar do you feel can give Real Madrid the best success, both in La Liga and abroad, Neymar or Mbappe?
See, the obvious choice for anybody would always have to be Neymar, because Neymar on his day.
Why is that the obvious choice?
Because Neymar does everything. Neymar literally can do anything. Whether you want free kick, penalties, whether you want counterattacks, whether you want creativity, whether you want flair, whether you want a big name. Neymar does all of that. But with that being said, I would still pick Mbappe, just for the fact that, one, if we're going in for Hazard, I feel like Mbappe would complement Hazard more than Neymar, because
wait, how so?
Because let's say, for example, if we have Neymar and Hazard on the same team, if we lose the ball, we're essentially going to have two players up, because Hazard and Neymar are not going to retain the ball. You can't really have players you can only have one player that could really be the freeloader of the team, a player that can just go offensively but not go defensively. So I feel like if we get that, then we won't have just the wings where it's just all our fullbacks, because our fullbacks go push very high up. So if you have your fullbacks high up, your wingers not tracking back, it's game over. We're gonna concede a lot of goals. So Mbappe would be definitely. And aside from that, the thing is about Mbappe is he would be ideal for the way Madrid play, because he's he reminds me a lot of younger Ronaldo.
For sure, yeah.
He plays like a younger Ronaldo. Maybe I don't think he's still as he still needs a couple more years to be fully developed because you can still see he still has some errors. His finishing isn't still quite there yet. And I feel like it's too soon for him because if we're talking about the pressure of Real Madrid, I think Mbappe can't handle that pressure just yet.
Ooh, okay, wait. Hold up. I get the pressure of Real Madrid. Is there anything more pressurized than playing at the World Cup?
100. See, AJ, that's a very good point. But the thing is about that World Cup, that French team had quality from front to back, and there was more. Mbappe was a kid. He didn't have much pressure because he was a kid. Any expectation he had was he exceeded it because he's 18, right?
But
Like if they were lost,
but let's be real though. I
Mhm.
do get it that was still a very talented French team, but I think by the time we go to the knockout stage, I think especially after the France game, no, sorry, especially after the Argentina game, I think Mbappe knew that. Oh wow, people look to me to inspire this team. As in, you could just tell that no, he is really the star of this team. Even if he's a teenager, Deschamps already knew that no, this is the star, and he didn't shrink under that kind of responsibility to still be an inspirational figure for that French team at such a young age. So, doesn't that add to him being able to walk into Real Madrid with broad shoulders, man?
He definitely could. Don't get me wrong. Mbappe has the resume to start for Real Madrid. But what I'm saying about like what I meant about that French team, not that he can't handle like he can't play in those kind of games. It's the fact that if France would have lost, I feel that Pogba and Griezmann would have gotten the most of the backlash. I don't feel like people would have really condemned Mbappe that much because he's 18 years old. He's still young. He still he doesn't have that respect still. Hasn't really experienced that really hardships yet in his career. It's like more when you're like 24, 23, 24. That's when you're entering your prime just about. I feel like that's when you know what a player is really made of. Because my only issue, like I have, sorry, my only thing with Mbappe, like I said, I want him to continue at PSG right now. I want him to play at least 2, 3 more seasons at PSG, get to like 22 years old, and let's see right then if Madrid can get him, like 100% him over any other player. But I feel like right now, Neymar, I wouldn't want just because that whole Barca history. I feel like it's gonna bring too much negativity, too much towards the dressing room, and plus, if Neymar comes in, he wants to be that alpha superstar in that Galactico team. And I don't think the players are going to really respect him like that the way they did Ronaldo because that team was built around Ronaldo. That team was built for Ronaldo, and it was a 10-year project. Neymar is only going to have a few years because what is he? He's 26, 27. He only has a couple. Like he's not going to be able to be that really because Neymar wants to be the alpha superstar. Hazard can come in. He won't want to be the alpha superstar. Hazard will be a superstar, but he's not going to be like a Ronaldo-esque player where everybody just passes to me, give it to me. Ronaldo performs well, we win, whatever. But with Mbappe, like I said, 4 years from now, you have all these up and comers. They bring in this player. It's Mbappe, World Cup winner, possibly we don't know, maybe a Champions League winner by that time. Comes into that club, different respect, different aura, different prestige. He's more likely to be. He would be the face. He would be the person that's on every Madrid poster. It's a whole different aura than what he is right now because he comes in right now regardless of all his accomplishments, he's still a prospect. He's still a young player that we don't know how good he's gonna be. We've seen a lot of players like Balotelli. If Balotelli won that Euros way back when, he could have possibly been like Mbappe. He would have gotten the same hype, which he kind of did, right? But what happened to Balotelli? Right, like he never really achieved that potential.
I mean, so about the Balotelli thing, I think that's much more of a mental, psychological thing, really. So.
Right, but we again, like what has Mbappe really hasn't had those hardships yet in his career. He hasn't really had Balotelli had to go through a lot, so of course his is a different situation. But we don't know what like Mbappe has to deal with because again, he's playing with Neymar. Neymar holds all the responsibility. If PSG lose, you said it yourself, Neymar's career is over. It's not Mbappe. Mbappe, nothing happens to him because he's still young. So anything he does, he's still exceeding his expectation. So I don't really rate his mentality still that highly because I don't feel like he really had to undergo all that pressure just yet. So, but again, like if it's right now, the obvious choice, Neymar. But if we're going to talk about like long term, I would hands down go for Mbappe. Mbappe is the obvious choice, like long term.
All right, so just to end this right now, so La Liga seems, yeah, it's sort of here and there, but it's still mathematically possible. Got the Copa del Rey, got the Champions League. So come May, what trophies are in Real Madrid's cabinet, in your honest opinion?
Trouble's on. Trouble is on, HH.
What? Red,
No,
come
no,
on. Let's go.
no,
No,
no.
come on.
Seriously,
Let's be real here. Let's just be real.
the only trophy that could realistically see us winning this season, and I'm like 90% confident with it, is the Copa del Rey. I feel like with Barca's loss today, our current form, I feel like we could really win the Copa del Rey. The league, see, the thing is about the league, like, here's an interesting fact. Last season, from 2018 to the end of the season, from like the turn of the year, Madrid had accumulated the most points out of any other La Liga side. It's just that we were so horrendous in the first half of the season that the damage was already done. So it's a 10-point gap. Barcelona still have to play Sevilla. They still have to play Atletico. They still have to play us. So those right there those are game changers right there, where we still have a possibility. We're still in the title race technically. Right now we're at third, which is a big improvement because we were at fifth just 2 weeks ago. So we're back to third. We're 3 points ahead of fourth. And I just want to say one thing: Madrid's starting 11 has yet to play together. We still haven't played a starting 11. We still haven't seen Marcelo, Carvajal, Ramos, Varane, Modric, Casemiro, Cruz all on the same team. We still haven't seen Bale, Vinicius, Benzema play together. I feel like the only thing is about Madrid, we peak at the end of the season. We tend to peak around February. So I hopefully Copa del Rey, Champions League, I want to just reach the semifinal. That's it. If we reach the semifinal, just keep that record of having 9 semis in a row. That's good enough for me.
So you're confident that I'm talking bull crap about Ajax beating Real Madrid?
Yeah. No. Ajax are not going to beat us. It's just not going to happen. I know that. See, when you watch us play, sometimes you'll be like, okay, how this Madrid team is going to get destroyed by Ajax. But again, that's not our starting 11. We're playing a dude named Javi Sanchez, Vallejo, and Reguilon in defense. Like, these are our players. Odriozola, I don't want to name him because Odriozola has been quality. Definitely a great buy. I've loved him this season. But those 3 players are all new. Again, we're playing Llorente. We're playing a guy named Federico Valverde in center mid. We're playing Dennis Ceballos. He's is quality, but these are all just new players. Vinicius is an 18-year-old playing in our attack. We still have not played our starting 11 yet. So all these losses that people are seeing Madrid at, I don't want them to rate Madrid based off these losses, because you never know what happens when the starting 11 actually plays together. So again, like for me, the season starts right now, because the first half of the season, we don't know what happens. There's injuries, there's players that go, the winter transfer window, all that stuff. This is the season that happens. This is when you can go and be like, okay, now we have Atletico Bilbao away, we have Barcelona at home, we have this. You can actually calculate the points that you can actually possibly get and know what you need to win the league. So it is good. The league is definitely, I feel like it's out of the question. I feel like second is going to be our best position in the league table. I think it's Barca's to lose at this point. Obviously, impossible to play against an alien like Leo Messi. But Copa del Rey, it's still up in the air. We can still go for that. Champions League, you never know. It could be 4 in a row, HH. 4 in a row.
No. Come on, red. Come on.
HH. Can you really say, because we said the same about 3 in a row and 2 in a row. Even though Zidane and Ronaldo are gone, you never know.
And I think with Cristiano and Zidane not being there, I think 4 in a row. No.
It's too much. It's a big ask. It's a big ask. It would be, but if 4 in a row does happen, I think the Champions League, as like you say, should be disbanded. Like, it should be done.
Oh, no, 100%. Look, to be honest with you, 3 in a row is already bad enough, man. So look, man. It's been swell, man.
Thanks for having me.
For coming in with this. Was a damn good talk. So I'm sure it will be enjoyed by Real Madrid fans and even non-Real Madrid fans, because I think we talked a lot of football and tactical breakdowns in this month. So yeah, man, thank you very much for having you on. And maybe
thank you, Richard, for having me.
When I do the second episode, I'll have you on again. It was swell.
Appreciate it. Bye. See you, HH.